keep the Christmas tree coming today and the turkey being part of this far more exciting than anything I can say, but I'll take a few questions.
Kellyanne, President Trump said that the intelligence report on Jamal Khashoggi's killing, he expected it early this week. Can we expect it today?
I think you should just go back to what the president said, which is he's waiting for the final report. Obviously, you saw the sanctioning of 17 individuals already, and the president said it's a complete tragedy. He's been looking for answers. He's directed everybody to go and get those answers, including the Secretary of State almost immediately following the murder.
The president also seems to be ruling out a sit-down interview with Robert Mueller. Does he feel more emboldened now? Does he feel like he has more leverage now that Matt Whitaker effectively oversees the Russian investigation?
It's nothing to do with the acting attorney general, Jeff. It has everything to do with the fact that the president continues to say what he said all along, which is there's no Russia collusion. And also he and about 30 plus others have, I suppose, been asked to produce information, whether that's written information or come in for an oral interview under oath. So we could not have been more compliant. I'm going to continue to stand here and say it. 1.4 million pieces of paper and counting, 33 individuals we read in the paper have been complying, and he's been complying also. His attorneys have, I guess, counseled him that he should submit those answers in writing, and he has. But he's not afraid to sit down. It just doesn't seem necessary. It doesn't rise to that level.
Can I ask you about the Vice President's trip to Asia? What's the central message that the President wants the American people to understand about that trip and the conversation that he'll have with the Vice President later today?
Yes, they're having lunch today. I was there when they spoke on Friday, actually. I think that the Vice President was on his way to Papua New Guinea, or maybe was there, and really very successful trip, and they were even there reviewing some of the highlights. And I won't get ahead of the President and the Vice President. The lunch they'll have today to discuss all that, but obviously we have great alliances there. The President sent the Vice President because he knows that he is a trusted, the trusted number two here, and that is absolutely true. I was there when the President read the article.
The President said that he made some comments about Osama bin Laden. Who does he think is responsible for not catching bin Laden faster?
I haven't had that conversation with him. We're just happy that that Osama bin Laden is on the trash heap of history.
Those types of comments could roil the military,
How important?
No president has shown greater respect for the military and the veterans. What he's been able to do, everything from just more deeply respecting and better resourcing the military. I mean, this president's leadership, without a single Democratic vote, I will remind you, is responsible for $717 billion in money for whatever the military needs, what General Mattis has said that they need, equipment and the rest, and also the first pay raise in about, I think it was 9 years, a little bit less than a 3% pay raise. This is a president who's always put them first. Just last Thursday or Friday, he had an event here with veterans going through everything that's been done for our great men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and those in uniform and now out of uniform who are, well, I should say in service and out of service, who the VA Choice Act, the 24/7 hotline that we have here, the Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act, the disposition of their benefits for so many of them that was uncertain before. I mean, time after time, he has stepped up for our veterans and for the military. And so he shows utmost respect. We're very happy that that Osama bin Laden obviously is on the trash heap of history. I think it's been 7 years since he was captured and killed.
How important is the meeting between President Xi now and President Trump, given the fact that the Chinese vice premier is not coming here for those set-up talks? How important is that with China trade?
Well, it's always been important, and I think from the very beginning of his presidency, even during transition, President Trump has tried to forge a good working relationship with President Xi. I think it's made the difference in the president moving forward with his trade agenda and the tariffs. Also, I know that he has discussed fentanyl, the awful fentanyl that's pouring into our country. It looks like it's manufactured mainly, if not exclusively, in the labs in China, and that has to stop because 30,000 Americans died from fentanyl-related overdose deaths just last year. I mean, please start covering that more. That's like basically a plane falling from the sky every day in overdose deaths.
Could it be pivotal going forward, though? Could that be a bigger difference between if we're in a trade dispute or a trade war with China?
Or a trade deal? You never know. That's up to China as well. But obviously, this president, I don't know why people don't take him seriously, because he obviously went ahead and put the tariffs on and thinks that we should not have a $500 billion trade deficit with China.
The president's had a lot of business dealings with Saudi citizens over the years. Is he concerned that Americans might think that his reluctance, or at least slow moving on this Khashoggi matter has anything
I'm sorry,
to do?
how was he reluctant on the Khashoggi matter or even slow moving? It was at the 17 sanctions. Should the Secretary of State gone a minute before he got there to try to get answers?
At first, he said that, it wasn't one of our people. It was one of their people.
I don't even understand your question respectfully. He wasn't reluctant because I disagree with it. He's not reluctant and he's not slow moving. The president is anything but slow moving. I think he moves it.
He listened to the audio. He said it's a tape of human suffering. Doesn't he have some sort of obligation?
He said he's waiting for the final report. Obviously, he's made many comments, not just the ones that some of you constantly want to cherry pick, about the tragic and unspeakable murder of Mr. Khashoggi, and obviously we've already taken action.
So you don't expect more sanctions, and you do not expect more sanctions.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
You said you've already taken action, so can we expect future action in response to that matter as well?
I think you can take the president at his word, which is that he's going to continue to take appropriate action. He's waiting for the final report.
Lindsey Graham
The president said yesterday, or said in the interview over the weekend, that 2 or 3 more staff changes likely to come. Could be for more changes. Any timeline on that? When do we expect to see anything?
No. I just, clearly the timeline that you all ran with is fact last week. I think you even went up to New York to sit on set and talk about it, Kristen. I'm sorry, it didn't happen. I think General Kelly's still here, Chief of Staff. I mean, eventually you'll be right because 6 years from now the president will leave too, and you'll say, I knew it, he was going to leave office.
Have you softened on the Homeland Security?
How about if we just start to try to cover the work that's done here rather than just the people who work here? I think that would be wonderful for the country.
But has he softened on the Homeland Security Secretary?
What do you mean softened?
Well, there was so much talk about her.
He hasn't softened on Homeland Security and immigration and the wall and everything that I'm very glad to see the president say that he respects her and he knows she's very smart and he respects her and she's doing a great job. The border is a vexing situation, but that's mainly because of Congress's failure to act. Republicans, Democrats in Congress have failed to act over a number of who knows how many years, and we have a couple of judges now making immigration policy for an entire country.
Will she be here for the New Year, Kellyanne?
I hope so. I think so. But that's up to the president and to her. But in the meantime, she's doing a great job. She's at the border last week with General Mattis. But the president and the president alone has a right to have the senior staff and the cabinet in place that he wants. But again, if we're going to cover palace intrigue because it's too hard to keep up with all the policy stuff, that's honestly not what the public's looking for, respectfully. We share joint custody of the country, and we could really use your assistance getting some of the great work that's done here to the people. I want the veterans to know everything that's available to them.
Senator Lindsey Graham says it's just not believable that the Saudi Crown Prince wasn't aware of the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. The president's not ready to say that he ordered it, but does he share that assessment, Kellyanne?
The president has spoken publicly on this matter many times, and I would refer you to his comments, including the one, Kristen, that he's going to look at the final report and act accordingly. But he has been on top of this. He sent his Secretary of State over there early. 17 have been sanctioned. He's been looking very closely at that, and he gets intelligence briefings that you don't.
On the wildfires, the
Has been submitted since the Fox News interview.
Not that I'm aware of.
the president keeps blaming bad forest management for these wildfires. So what does he believe needs to happen?
Well, I know that he was very moved by the devastation that he saw there, and very happy to hear Governor Jerry Brown and Governor-elect Gavin Newsom join him there, along with some other officials. So the president certainly wanted to go thank the first responders and witness the devastation, see how we can continue to help. But we obviously need to figure out a better way to help prevent this type of devastation in the future. I think everybody shares that goal, regardless of their party affiliation. The president certainly shares that goal. And obviously, he's there to help on the back end now as we continue to search for, please pray for the 1,000 people who are still missing, and certainly those who have been devastated. It is truly one of the most incredibly devastating scenes I think any of us have ever witnessed, me through television footage, and the president and some of his senior staff and cabinet members firsthand.
Kellyanne, did the president